I have Zach.
All right. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the school committee meeting of February 1st, 2022. I would take a motion to open the meeting. Moved by Ellen. Second by Trista. All in favor? Aye. At this time, I would take a motion to move to executive session pursuant to MGL Chapter 1A for Purpose 2, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with non-union personnel, school business administrator, because an open session may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the school committee, and the school committee will return to open session for their regularly scheduled meeting. Moved by Ellen? Second by Tristan. We'll do a roll call vote. Foster?
Yes. Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Walker? Aye. Colligan?
Aye.
McLaughlin, aye. Higgins?
Aye.
And Pennington.
Bennington, aye.
Thank you. Welcome back. The committee is just returning from executive session, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance for this portion of the meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all. Moment of silence. Thank you. All right, beginning with public comment. The public comment period is not an open forum. Speakers may address topics on the agenda, items specified for public comment, or items within the scope of the school committee's responsibility. Seeing no one for public comment, we move forward to report from the East Bridgewater Junior Senior High School Student Advisory Council representative. Lucy, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
How are you?
Good.
All right, so I'm going to start with a report from the Central School. The Booster Fun Run and Kindness campaign that I spoke about last meeting was a huge success for them, and the PTO will be using the money to fund field trips, supplies, technology, and more fun things. February is their Random Acts of Kindness month, and they have a lot of activities to do with that, and the first grade students will be making care packages for all the homeless in their library media classes with Mrs. Trumbull. All Central School students will be participating in a community kindness outreach project sponsored by Simple Graces and Taproots Counseling. And this project is called Somebody Loves You, Random Acts of Kindness Project. And this is how students will receive love in the form of a special message / heart along with their teachers, and in turn decorate hearts with love to be shared back into the community to local businesses. The project comes full circle when others decorate hearts with love and return them to Central School. And then I do not have a report from the Mitchell School today. And the East Bridgewater High School, the second semester started yesterday, so report cards will be coming out by the end of this week. A couple of our winter sports are thinking about postseason play, which is really exciting. Our winter semi-formal, which was our homecoming, is going to be on March 4th, set to be that now. And the senior class is having a fundraiser with a school-appropriate hypnotist. They're coming on Thursday, February 17th, not this
Before vacation.
at 7 p.m., and tickets are $15. The Unity Club will be hosting a Spirit Week February 7th through 11th. And there will be events happening at the high school all week. And some of these events include music and Black History trivia on the announcements. Dr. Karima Lewis, who is a Bridgewater State professor, is delivering a presentation called Black Kings and Governors of Colonial New England for U.S. history students on February 28th. So that's a really cool opportunity for those kids. And Mr. Clements and Mr. Taylor met with the school council, and they'll continue to have those meetings every month. And lastly, we wanted to thank the custodians and DPW for allowing us to have a safe return to school on Monday. And that's all I have.
Did they happen to tell you how much the fun run raised?
I think it was like 40K.
I think it was 46.
Yeah.
That's so impressive.
Yeah.
Great.
They did really well.
That's great. Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any questions? All right. Thank you. Superintendent's Corner, COVID update.
I'm going to give my time to Dr. Williams right now.
Sure.
Great.
Did she know that?
Not to talk about COVID.
Not to talk about COVID.
Sure.
So my part of the agenda was just to share with you that the district will be undergoing a targeted district review. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed have partnered up with American Institute for Research. So it's a contracted organization that actually conducts the review and will report to the Department of Ed. So it has sort of 4 components to it. The first, which was actually completed today, was a self-assessment of the district. It's covering 6 standards, and within each of those standards, there's 3 or 4 indicators. So in the packet I've shared with you tonight, it talks about the areas in which we will be evaluated and given feedback on. So it's leadership and governance, human resources, there's a financial asset and management component, curriculum instruction, assessment, and student support. So, as I said, we uploaded the assessment with documentation as evidence of what we do in each of those areas. Next will be an actual document review that they will do. So within the packet, you'll see in the appendix particular documents that they're looking for verification of what we have in place. And then the end of February, the week of February 28th to March 3rd, they will actually be here within the district. And during that time, they will conduct interviews and focus groups made up of stakeholders from across the district, educators, administrators, parents, students, grades 6 and up, as well as school committee representatives. So I'll be back in touch to see who's available for that. And then they will do observations. They'll go to all 3 of the buildings. All that they ask of us is a list of staff and room numbers and maps. They do not want us walking around with them, so that they're free to go in and out of rooms and look to see if the documentation that we provided actually is verified in the work that they see being done on a daily basis. And then we'll receive a report giving us feedback on areas of strength and areas of needed growth. So certainly when we have that available, I will share that as well. So working towards getting that. I mean, I think since coming out of COVID, it was like, okay, we're back full swing. Mr. Clement submitted our NEASC progress report. We have a coordinated program review coming up. We've got the district target review. We're finalizing the strategic plan, so back in full swing. So it's kind of, I guess, anti-COVID talk as opposed to the superintendent's report this evening. But as nerve-wracking as it is, it's certainly a wonderful opportunity for us to see where our strengths are and where we can tighten up things, especially looking cross-district. Sure. One thing we noticed in the self-assessment is we have strengths in pockets, and we need to have those be consistent across the district.
Did you have a question?
No, I had a comment afterwards, but go ahead.
So, Gina, you said Mr. Clement submitted the progress report, the NEASC. Was this the first time in 2 years it was submitted, if I have it right? Like when?
Yes.
Okay.
That was actually going to be my request, as I know we're going to soon hear about the strategic plan. I was wondering for the next meeting if we could put an agenda item on for the NEASC and just kind of get an update on where we are with everything and
Sure.
where we're currently, what's been
Timeline.
submitted, what's our timeline, so on and so forth.
Yep, definitely.
Thank you. Any other questions about that piece?
Were there areas of strength in the self-assessment that you'd want to highlight, or anything that surprised you?
Nothing really that surprised me,
Well,
because I
we-
feel like
we all
a
know
lot
how
of
great
what
we
I
are.
do daily, but certainly looking at what we've put in, especially from a diagnostic lens, really strong at the K to 6 level, and looking at how we triangulate data to make decisions about the instructional needs of students, the groupings of students, and it really has forced the conversation to bring that up through 7 through 12. So we're looking at response to intervention, and we had to note that in the self-assessment, that that is an area that we need to continue to grow in with our curriculum mapping and common assessments, and making sure we had opportunities for intervention for students that aren't as successful in filling in those needed gaps. Certainly, the acceleration academies are going to help with that. Knowing we've run those over the summer, we were awarded the grant for $130,000 to run them over school vacations. We're just hoping our 7th through 10th graders take advantage of coming during those vacation weeks in the time over the summer. But certainly the work dedicated here for the staff is to examine the curriculum and make sure that we have dedicated time in the school day to provide those supports to students. So that's what I am anticipating, the biggest piece that will come out of the reporting. But a new evaluation system that we have in place, Panorama, I had to note that too, that it's on, but not being utilized to its full capacity, and we have to get that going too, to make sure that all staff are using it and parents have the ability to access that information too. So I feel confident that everything is at least in motion. It's just the work that needs to be done to make sure that those things are being used with fidelity.
That's great. And just a question of the follow-up, you had said that we'll kind of receive a report about our strengths and opportunities to improve. This system doesn't have something like accreditation where you would be like, I'm not saying like a warning, or you would receive any.
No, it's really supposed to be for the district's benefit to get that feedback.
Great. Thank you so much, Jean.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Back to you.
Well, thank you. Want to talk about COVID?
Yeah, it's time.
All right.
Want to?
Mrs. Clifford? Can I move this?
Will we finally have a meeting where we don't begin with a COVID update?
I'm hoping. Really?
Can't wait.
I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
So the COVID update for today is that we've moved into the newest testing program that DESE has initiated, which is the at-home testing. So at-home testing kits will be distributed on a 2-week schedule for staff and students. Participants can opt in anytime through April. Tests should be administered once per week, and all positive results need to be reported to the school via the absence form that we have, communicating by email to myself or the nurse, or texting me on the COVID phone. Right now, it started on a staggered schedule, which means that we distributed the test to the staff last week, a 2-week kit, and this week, tomorrow, that's where I was just now, is delivering to the Mitchell so that they will have them first thing in the morning. The packs will go home to students tomorrow. We have about 202, about 59% of our staff participating, and we have 435 students in the district, which is 19% at Central, 26% at Mitchell, and 18% at the high school participating. Staff will receive another kit next week and the following week to get them through vacation, and the students' 2 weeks will come on that February 15th before the break, and then after the break, they will resume the schedule together, and staff and students will get it on the same weekly cycle. It will not be staggered anymore. So as far as vaccination status in the building goes, according to the Board of Health, as of today, 859 students in the 12 to 18-year-old category have received vaccinations. We have 824 of that age group in our building, and we have 531 of those students are vaccinated, so about 57%.
Hold on.
So the difference in the numbers is
Yeah.
students that have already graduated that are 18 in college,
Right.
and students that are in public school, private school, 6th graders, we do not include 6th graders, we just included 7 through 12 for this building.
So 57% of the students who are currently attending this building are vaccinated.
Yes.
That's not even close.
Have one vaccination.
What's that?
They have one.
Right.
They're not totally vaccinated.
No, they're totally vaccinated.
57%, but then there's the other percentage that.
Then there's 20 other students that just received their first vaccination in January. Sue Malloy from the Board of Health did point out that the MIAA, the Massachusetts Immunization Information System, is backed up because not every pharmacy or doctor's office is recording immediately. So she said that might account for some of the lag. The best way her recommendation is for us to do one of those attestation forms where we send it home to the parents and they fill it out
Okay.
to get the most accurate number for students in our building.
Okay.
So Karen and I did talk about this because we thought we were at 78%, 84% here at the high school. We think what happened is we put the numbers together from the beginning of the percentages that we had of both schools, of the kids, and then we think we put some of the teachers in that as well, because when we were going back and forth, as you remember, the big sheets that we had, so we go back and forth, because when we saw these today, it was like, it's not measuring up to what we had in November. You know, we were close then.
So this 57% does not include our staff, and it is supposed to be all personnel in one building to meet 80%, and we have 89% of all the staff in the district have been vaccinated, so I would have to
Okay.
just pull out.
Give us,
So I think what we did is we did the staff and the students.
okay.
That way you would you'll have over the 80%, but
You
when-
get a chance to put all those numbers together and just give us a total percentage, that'd be,
you'll be over 80%
okay.
Yeah,
in one building.
I think
That's
we're-
right, that's what I'm.
Yeah, and I think what happened is, when we talked today, it was, let's just get the students out, because that's what we talked about the other day. I said, no, it's at 84%, and then we just saw it in the hallway, and because I saw this earlier, and I said, that's not right, and then we were saying, no, because it's the one building.
Gotcha.
And you put the teachers in. This building, the junior, senior high school teachers they're the highest, well, I can say all the schools now, I would say, but if you do we have 334 employees
Gotcha.
that are on here, but the teachers, I would say they're pretty high. They're in the 90 percentile.
Another comment about the state system that Sue Malloy made today to me was that if you get your first dose of a vaccine and you use your name Karen Clifford, and you get the second dose another place and it says Karen M. Clifford, it's not going to match up, it's not going to be registered as a vaccinated individual. So she did try to she spent a lot of time today trying to work that out, and she found a few more people, but that's why she recommended that we do the attestation form so that we can get an accurate account. She did also say for me to mention that the numbers in East Bridgewater have dropped the last 3 weeks in town. I think part of that is because it does not include the at-home positives. So over the last 9 days in the public schools, since as of today, we have tracked 106 new cases. 35 of them were positives, and we have 21 students that are currently out, whether it's quarantine or isolation.
So that's from last week.
That's from January 23rd, just about 10 days, so it's 9 days.
Okay, and now we're not doing that anymore, right? Is that
The new program, does that mean we're not?
right?
So we still have to keep track of the positives, so I'll still be able to tell you how many cases we're tracking, whether it's an
Okay.
individual in isolation or in quarantine because they're a close contact somewhere else. Because if they're a close contact out of school, they still have to quarantine.
Okay.
Karen.
So
Sorry.
I forgot.
The change with the new testing situation is that if an individual is a close contact in school, we don't contact trace in school.
Okay,
If they're a close contact outside of school, they still have to follow the DPH guidelines, quarantine, and trace through family members, sports teams, things like that.
So
So is that the 130 or whatever that number is then? What's that first number? 35 positives, but there was 100 and something that were tracked?
106 total tracked in the district.
those are close contacts.
But
Those are close
outside.
contacts,
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah.
Positives, close contacts.
So now, if a child tests positive and they were in school during their contagious period, there's no more close contact tracing of those kids who would have a few weeks ago been close contacts, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And the reason for that, this new testing program, the reason for that is because the data that they have collected on the test and stay program is 98% of the people that are going through the test and stay are coming up negative, the 5 days, the 6 days, the
Right.
whatever days.
And it's so much
So it's
worse.
not really a mitigating factor to help us reduce the spread of COVID, because it's not showing that we have it.
It's not catching anybody, right? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Last question. So with the student take-home tests, if you get notification from a parent that a student tests positive on that, do you report that to the Board of Health, or does that just stay between you and the parent?
That does not get reported to the Board of Health, because the Board of Health is not recording any at-home tests.
Right.
They're just still going with the state system. So it would just be reported to us as a school, and I have to report to DESE.
Gotcha.
Because they're the ones that are sponsoring the program.
Thank you. Anything further related to that? Chapter 70 funding.
Yeah, just wanted to give you a quick update. The governor's budget came out last week. It's a pretty significant increase in the Chapter 70 funding for East Bridgewater. Last year, we received a little over 11 million. Now, the governor's budget is preliminary. There'll be another 4 or 5 revisions to it once it goes through the House and the Senate and the Conference Committee, but as it stands now, in the preliminary budget, we're looking at a little under 12,200,000. That's a 1.1 million increase, which is significant to us, especially when you compare it to the prior years.
Yeah.
I can't remember a year where we had anything even close to that.
Not since I've been here.
Yep. Okay. Anything else about that? I mean, it's great.
Thanks, Sean.
That's it.
All right. I was expecting you to have more
I have a few
insight on
things,
that.
Tim.
It's great. I'm sorry?
I'll finish off,
Yeah.
and then you're going to go into action, or
Yep.
public comment or action items. Something that wasn't mentioned about Mitchell School was they sold 6,600 cupcakes, or $6,600 worth of cupcakes. I don't know if they were a dollar a piece.
The profit was.
Profit was $6,600 at Mitchell School. And they were delivering, the 5th grade delivered today, I think, that they took pictures of, so that's pretty neat. They did a great job. I want to thank the parents for coming out, helping out with this fundraiser. This was a 3 through 6 project down there, fundraiser at the Mitchell School. That's terrific, that everybody got involved and everybody worked together, and I thought it was pretty neat. Erica in our office, I think her daughter is at the Mitchell School, and she came in to show me the pictures of today. So I thought that was really neat, but that's really great that we have the parent support that we do, so we can do some other activities that come up. Today begins Black History Month. I think you made mention to that, but today starts Black History Month, and I know that there's going to be different events throughout the month at different schools to make sure that we highlight our inclusiveness and what we're doing here at the district level and what we're going to continue to do at the school levels and the building levels and kids. And, as Central School said today, there's kindness coming out on February 14th, but there's kindness every day. Mitchell School is doing their kindness campaign, and everybody should be kind, but we also need to be inclusive when we're kind. So that's, I think, the Black History Month is, we start today and we push that a little bit as we move forward. I just want to give a couple of updates. We did have pre-kindergarten yesterday, had no school. We didn't have heat in 4 out of the 7 rooms, 8 rooms that we have over there. It was sort of picking and choosing which rooms it didn't want to heat up, and heated up at 85 in other rooms. Those rooms were going today. We had one room that was still down this morning, but we had heated it to about 65 degrees by the time the kids came in, so we were on the way up, and it has been fixed by now. We did have some leakage at the Central School, even though we have a brand-new roof. We're trying to figure out where the leaking came in. Dr. Williams has her theories. Brian Kiley has his theories. Everybody has their theories from being
I'm guessing it was snow melting.
from Central School. For being at Central School for so long, she's got her theories. John Shea has his theories. I don't care about the theory, we've got a leak, let's fix it, let's find it, I don't care where it came from. We just don't need water in those rooms, because we know what happens when we've got water just sitting around. So, but other than that, again, you took the words out of our mouths. The custodians did a fantastic job. Last week on Thursday, we watched this weather come through all last week, making sure that we were keeping informed with DPW, our custodians, fire, and police, because they're on call that whole time, and being out there and helping out. DPW did a terrific job getting us opened and clear. We had everybody, my message was stay home. Nobody needed to be out driving around. And the custodians were here on time on Sunday and worked to get us opened up. So I want to thank them. And I think we're in the right direction here of COVID. We seem to be going down. It's nice to see that. And a couple of the other programs, we piloted a program with UMass Dartmouth. I spoke to the students today who were juniors and seniors of that program. Got to meet with them with Karen Clifford and Mr. Clements, the high school principal. All of those students either received a B+ or an A in the courses that they took. So it tells us that what we do from K through 12 in our district is strong. We're committed to instruction, so that's telling us, and the kids really wanted to learn and really wanted to be part of this pilot program of what's going on in college. Dr. Williams and I and Mrs. Clifford are going up to Assumption College on Thursday from 12 to 2 to have a luncheon with the president of Assumption. And we're going up with, I think, 9 or 10 other superintendents to have a luncheon from the South Shore Consortium to do another pilot program with Assumption College and continue to work with dual enrollment for our kids so that they can get college credits, so that they get exposure to different types of programs, where they're going to go. Maybe they took some marine biology courses and they say, that's really not what I want to do. Maybe they took some tech courses, that's really nice too. So I think from Dr. Williams and my perspective is to get exposure to college courses, to give our kids exposure to what we have to offer. Dr. Williams and I sat this afternoon on a Zoom call with a few other superintendents in the South Shore with Stonehill College, looking at a program about photonics, about how light, I don't even know how to describe it. Instead of using a wire, now they're using light to send messages on a board. What do they call it, a wafer?
Tina's not going to help you.
Yeah. They'll let me fail.
Taking the course with the students.
I'm going to be taking it. However.
A certificate program.
It's a certificate program. But the nice part about it is we asked, could our kids take it as seniors? It's at 5:30 to 8:30 every night. It's from a fall course, a fall semester, a spring semester, and a summer semester. It's $11,000 a year. There are grants available. What could we do as a school? What could they do as a grant? We did ask if the professor or the dean of this particular project and the professor that brought it to Stonehill, would they come over and see us, look at our curriculum, maybe go in to see, this is Mark Ferrioli's room, to see if that course matched up with any of the courses that they would offer in this. These kids are graduating from the certificate program, and it may be kids that want to matriculate into Stonehill. It may be students that don't want to matriculate all 4 years in through Stonehill. They just started the program, but these kids are graduating with a certificate in photonics, going right out to work, and starting at $40,000 to $60,000 in the tech world, whether it's coding or all the way up.
Yeah, so it used to be what creating and repairing chips were in the 20th century in electronics. Now they use light to create a PIC that's needed in order to operate, like she said, anything with light, like cars that will drive themselves. They will, operate under light, or LED, TV screens. It's now creating PICs through this certificate program, which he said there are kids that are being recruited to companies prior to even finishing the 12-month program that they're offering right now.
That will possibly pay for them to.
Yeah, so certainly a pathway for students who may not be interested in college, or even something that they might want to do, as the superintendent said, simultaneously as they think about a pathway for either an associate's or a bachelor's degree. And we're hoping that one of our programs, like our manufacturing program, could be one of the courses that they have under their belt free because they take it here, which then gives them incentive to continue through the rest of the program knowing that they already have completed what would have satisfied a 3-credit course at the college level.
And, our goal is to bring programs to kids, and our goal is to give an opportunity for success, and whatever that success or whatever that opportunity a child wants that's what we need to do. So, Dr. Williams and I talk about this a lot, and one of the things we do say is that how you and I went to high school, how you and I went to elementary school needs to change because it's different today. And one box does not fit all. 2 boxes doesn't fit all. It may be 30 different boxes that we're going to have to get and unpack and figure out what kids need to go on. And I don't know what all those boxes are. I really don't. But I do know that as Gina and I were speaking on the Zoom call today, there were all different people on the Zoom call. There was the superintendents, and they either brought, and a couple superintendents had sent their STEM, director of STEM in, or a guidance person in, or someone else, and they were more into the nitty-gritties of, well, what's the STEM courses do they need, and what tech, what should we change our courses, and should we do something in tech, and the guidance people were saying, well, we need to move the schedule over, or we don't know where we would put this in the schedule, or is this something that needs to be done, where the other superintendents and of course, Gina, were sitting there saying, I don't care what it looks like, because a student that wants to take a certificate program in their senior year, we've got to figure out how to make it work for them, because not every student's going to fit into, each box. So that's one of the programs. The next time we come in, we're going to talk about, will be on the agenda, if I can fit it on there, Tim, it'll be about the dual enrollment that we're going forward with, and that we'd like to go forward with. But we're also talking about Public Safety Academy. And we did have Chief Herron and Captain Kelly in here last week. We discussed with them our programs, we discussed with them what they could do for us, and we're thinking about starting it this summer, like with a 3-week of, Captain Kelly talked about the physicalness of being a fireman, or a firewoman, a fireperson, what a student would need to do, and how physically fit, and where they would need to start. So we thought maybe we would start there for 3 weeks, maybe 2 hours outside, working on the calisthenics and some type of programming for that, and then maybe an hour inside doing CPR and first aid, or talking about EMR, or first, whatever the coursework is to go into that field. And then next year, keep moving forward, and then we would have possibly next year for graduation, not only would a student walk across with a diploma of completion of their high school graduation from East Bridgewater Public Schools, but probably could possibly walk across the stage with a certificate from Stonehill College in photonics, come out with a diploma and credits and licensure, or their EMT or their CNA, and be ready to go into the fire academy for East Bridgewater, and be able to get picked up by the East Bridgewater Fire Department, and have Chief Herron send them into a program, the training program. So we know that not every kid fits in every box. So we are looking at different opportunities in different ways. The NEASC is going to point some things out. This review is going to point things out. Getting $1 million more is going to support, but it also is going to support some other things that we need to, and we cannot forget about students that are at risk, socially, emotionally, and students that need support systems for learning. So I think we're in a good spot, and that's all I really had. I know there's a lot of things going on, but
No, I think the idea of, connecting East Bridgewater kids to East Bridgewater services and, giving back to their town is a fantastic one. I love the idea of that. Are there other schools in the area that are doing similar things to that?
Middleborough has a program. I talked to Mr. Lynch over there, the superintendent. They do it a little bit differently. We're going to go over and take a look at that program. East Providence and Rhode Island just put it in, so they're one of the first school. They are the first school in Rhode Island to do it, and Middleborough is the only school that we know around here. I did talk to Brian about it, and Mr. Clements and their principal are going to get together, along with the two directors of guidance, to figure out how can we put a course in a day for these kids, and how do we get them, in their freshman year, maybe it's the summer program, their sophomore, maybe it's an after-school and summer, their junior year, it's the core courses, and then they spend the summer at the firehouse, and then the senior year, as they come through, it's half the day, the required course over here, and then they go over to the fire, and they watch, and they observe, and they get a mentor, and they can maybe ride in the, I think it's called jump seat. They sit in the jump seat, they go to, and they can watch and see what's going on. Is this really what I want to do? So, Chief Herron's excited about it, we're excited about it, Captain Kelly was very excited about it, so we hope to have a nice partnership with them.
Liz, as far as the dual enrollment through UMass Dartmouth, is it correct that it's not happening this spring because of lack of professors?
That's what we understand, that they couldn't get professors to fill those positions, and UMass Dartmouth just isn't ready for us.
Is that why you're looking?
Yep, well, we always were looking outside of UMass Dartmouth. We thought UMass Dartmouth was just a real, it was, one of the superintendents in this consortium went there for the undergrad, thought it would be a nice fit for some of our students. They've just put a ton of money into new dorms over there, into their programming, to their athletics, and we thought it'd be.
I was at their campus last week. I can't get over the new facility.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We went down, we thought it would be a good mix, and we thought it'd be a good transition. However, they couldn't, physics, we were supposed to do physics in the fall, physics got dropped, so we had 29 students ready to go, I think we had 12 at the end, and then it ended up with or 19 at the end, I think we ended up with 12 going through. So, and then, King Philip had 30 students going into physics, and so that's what happened. Okay. So we've always been looking for other schools, and now that we've gotten together and really are pushing for this, and we're all reaching out to, schools that we've gone to or done our advanced degrees in. Stonehill was one of them. They want to reach out now. Assumption reached out to us. I mean, the president sent me a letter, and so, I mean, we're moving.
Yeah.
And I think it's great for the kids.
And maybe this is a bigger conversation for a later time, but how is guidance helping students navigate this, especially with the availability of AP courses?
Yep.
Because I know some students are taking AP courses for which you can also get college credits if you score, 3, 4, or 5, well, 4 or 5 on the exam. And if the student's taking too many AP classes, they may not feel like they can take. How is that timing working? Because we don't always.
So Bill Clements was in those meetings today.
Okay.
And that's in conversation. That's why we did the pilot course the way we did it. And it's still like a pilot for this year.
Okay.
That's something that we need to figure out. And, we have a great AP program here, got great AP teachers. Is this the way we want to go? Or can a student take the dual enrollment and take the AP course at the college and get that weight and get that credit and that, and plus, I mean, get the weight and the credit here at the school, at the the high school level, and then still get 3 credits going into college? Is that the way you want to go? That's up to Bill. That's going to come.
That's still being vetted.
That's something that he has to look into, and I know that he is talking with Dr. Williams for that, so I'm not going to get involved in that. She may want to talk about that, but.
Yeah, just one piece that right now, as they're looking at the program of studies, they're going to be putting pathways within the program of studies so that students can look ahead and foresee, if they want to take a certain route, what is available to them, not only within the course offerings, but then adding that, dual enrollment so that they can make those decisions before they're, in the moment of, okay, I'm already taking these things.
Yeah, okay.
But really being able to kind of see what all the opportunities are and then the path that they want to take that they feel will work best for them to get them where they ultimately want to be.
On that note also, I would assume that depending on these programs, both the ones that you're thinking about and the ones we have, there are some kind of criteria for students who might be eligible as well. And then my question is, Liz, you talked about the cost of the Stonehill certificate. Are the other programs a cost to students as well if they wanted to take any of these dual enrollment programs?
There will be.
Yeah,
That's why the pilot this year was pretty,
small.
yeah. We went into it and we said, you know, we want to do this.
Yeah.
It's a pilot. And I think the credits were $100 a piece.
Okay.
So it wasn't what the college kids pay, so,
Yeah.
and I think schools are going to work with us.
Yeah.
I will tell you, you know, you work at the college level. Colleges are hurting. They need our high school kids. They need us. They want kids to go to school. We want kids to go to school, but if they don't want to go to school, I think Stonehill is doing the right thing. They're saying, hey, listen, we might not get kids that want to go to do the matriculate in 4 years certificate program, and you're getting right out to work. The fire program, or the public safety. We also are going to reach out to Massasoit, and probably some other 2-year schools, so.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They're incentivized to work with us at this
Yeah.
point too, and you obviously know that, and that's great. And I think it's awesome that we're also looking at the needs of our community in terms of the public safety academies. Like, all of this is great work.
Yeah, I think the conversations don't stop. We just continue to, I mean, today we just kept going back and forth. Okay, what could we do, and how could we do this, and how can we get this in? And we continue to reach out, and we're going to continue to reach out, and we're going to continue to work with as many people as we can. I bring the programs, then Gina and I sit and we talk about them, or Gina brings the programs in, we sit and talk about them, and then we're going to hand them off to guidance and Mr. Clements, and they have to decide, you know, is this the way we're going to go? I do know the public safety, I think that is just a win-win for us, just a win-win for us as a community, but I also think a certificate program, if we can get some kids into that and maybe even have our course be validated by Stonehill as they take a look at it, that's even going to be a boost for us. You know, it's less money for the student, and they also did say there was grants, and that if a student gets picked up by a company, they'll come back and give you some grant money and hire you prior to you graduating. So you might not go out with a loan, they may pay your loan off. So,
And everything will have prerequisites, so that these programs are complementing what we're doing, not replacing what we're doing. And then when they just have more meaning behind them, students are more engaged and invested in the courses they're taking here, knowing it's creating a pathway for them beyond high school, so.
And I'm so sorry, one more, just to make sure. So, when you say not replacing, but the student would be getting some kind of credit here, I think you talked about this earlier, for those courses as well, in most cases, right? Like, so it would meet, like, okay, okay.
That's the definition of dual.
Dual
Yeah, that's, I figured, but,
It would be listed on there as a class taken at Stonehill College or a
Gotcha.
class at
gotcha, thank you.
That's great. Any other questions about that? Thank you. All right, I take a motion to approve the minutes from the school committee meeting of January 11th, 2022. Moved by Ellen. Second by Trista, all in favor? Aye. Take a motion to approve accounts payable warrant 31 SV dated 1/26/2022. Moved by Ellen. Second by Trista, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Take a motion to approve payroll warrant 30 PS dated 1/19/2022. Moved by Ellen.
Second.
Want a second? Second by Trista. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have a request from Mr. Clements to approve a out-of-state trip with the jazz band students to University of New Hampshire to attend the Jazz Festival on Saturday, March 12th, 2022. Superintendent recommends approval of the request. That did not happen last year, correct? But that is a long-standing tradition for our kids to attend that festival.
That's the change of the date for grade East?
What?
No, there's the Jazz Fest and then there's Grady.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I'd take a motion to approve this out-of-state field trip. Moved by Ellen, second by Trista. Any questions or comment about that? All in favor? Aye. We have a request from Mr. Clements to approve an out-of-state trip with the band Chorus to Canopy Lake Park at the Great East Music Festival on June 10th, 2022. Superintendent recommends approval. Take a motion to approve that. Moved by Ellen.
Second.
Second by Trista. Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Take a motion to approve school committee minutes, policy subcommittee meeting minutes from Wednesday, January 12th, 2022. And I do have a quick question after we hear the motion. Motion to accept the minutes? Moved by Ellen.
But it should only be it should just be the subcommittee voting on our minutes, because it's from the policy subcommittee, so it should just be us.
So only the three of you vote on those minutes, but you do it with all of us here?
Well, so Amanda submitted it, so I don't know how she submitted it to you or Barbara or
All
whatever.
five of us
But
had
that's
to
what-
vote on it in
That's what we
open.
usually,
I think we all have to.
I think so.
I just did it as,
Yeah.
like housekeeping when
I think all five of us vote to accept the minutes. Well, I'll tell you what, if we have to re-vote on it at the next meeting, we'll do that. So for now, I'll assume that all five of us have to vote on it.
I second.
Second by Trista. Quick question. So I noted in the minutes that you guys were waiting for information back from the superintendent and Ms. Martin before scheduling your next meeting. Has that meeting been scheduled or?
We had it.
Fine. You had the meeting or you scheduled it?
We had the meeting before executive session.
Beautiful.
We're marathoning our school committee duties.
I can see that. That's great, yeah.
We'll be ready for it's
So at our next meeting, you'll have a potential policy or maybe the meeting after that?
maybe the meeting after depends on when we have it reviewed by our attorney.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And if we have to go back and re-vote Ellen, we will do that the next meeting. We take a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Amanda.
somebody out there.
Second.
Second by Trista. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good evening, everyone.